Before we get into the training, just know I spent this trip elbow deep in food. I swear I tried to be an athlete on this trip, but 92.4% of my camera roll looks as if I was a full-time food blogger. Let's just say we did not go hungry on this trip. And that's a little clue as to where we were, by the way. Drop your guesses in the comments because this video is actually part 1 of a 2-part series, and you'll get even more clues in the next one. I'll be covering muscle-up drills, push exercises, and a few very humble human flag attempts in this new outdoor calisthenics park I found on holiday amongst the autumnal leaves of fall. A park with trees. Well, what's behind the trees? All for me. We even have a boxing bag in these calisthenics bars. Dip bars, different heights, single bars, monkey bars of course. These little things that look like they are to park your bike. Oh, it's fantastic, can't wait. Can't wait to use this. Straight bar dips to begin with. I found this bar to be the perfect height for me. I could practice this fantastic regression for the muscle up, which is where you jump up on top of the bar using your feet and eventually use your upper body more. I tried the slightly higher bar, but I couldn't quite clear it, so I went back to the original one and decided to do a few reps of these. It is a struggle to get over the bar, and that's what makes it such a great challenge and exercise for me in particular, because it's challenging to get over the bar, but not easy enough that it's not exercising those crucial muscles. I had plenty of those failed attempts. I don't see the failed attempts as a bad thing. I just stop, recalibrate myself, and go again. If at first you fail, try again until you succeed. Failed attempts to me are like reps of any other exercise or set that you're doing. You inevitably have to have some failed attempts in order to succeed. And when I do get up there, I bash out some straight bar dips again. Although this session is more of a playtime session, it's important to always keep your elbows locked in. Imagine you're holding some $20 bills under your armpits. And it's just as important to rest between sets like this. Another exercise I enjoy when getting out of this position where I'm hanging like a piece of clothing on a clothing line is rolling over the bar so that my lats are working very hard to control this movement and eventually end in an L sit. But in this example, I just dropped down after that static hold. Another muscle up progression you've seen me do in previous videos is the straight bar dip, but where you go really deep and you bend backwards, almost doing like a Russian dip before leaning back forwards again and going up. This is great to pair up with the jumping muscle up exercise you saw earlier and straight bar dips in general. It really works the tendons around your elbows to strengthen them to cope with that load of pulling yourself above the bar. In these next recorded sets, you can see a more specific view of how I do this, where I change my grip almost to a false grip as I descend into the dip. I lean back with my legs bent and then lean forward again and push myself all the way up. At the moment, I'm managing sets of 2 or 3 of these in a row, so don't be disheartened if you can only do 2 or 3, but can bash out 20 straight bar dips. They're not the same. This one is far more challenging. The next bars I try are the parallel ones. Of course, I've got to add some fundamental moves like dips. I find many dip bars in calisthenics parks are too wide for me because they're built for men's shoulders, which are wider than women's. The bars don't have the little grippy paint thing, so you'll have to like dirty your hands or make sure you have some chalk because the grip is really bad. I am loving this park so far. Apart from the little grippy bits that the steel is missing in the bars, these are fantastic. I even try some elevated push-ups. The benefit of doing push-ups on these bars as opposed to the floor where we traditionally do them is that we can go past the horizontal plane and actually go deeper in our push-up. Bending our elbows past the classic 90 degrees. This isn't a great angle to show this actually. You're not seeing that I'm going past the normal level of push-up, but just trust me, I am. Pretty sure these are just to park your bike, but they're also great for training LSAT. Got to use all the equipment I have available to me. Even the ground's not safe from some clap push-ups. Since I don't have any chalk on me, and we've already discussed that the grip on the stainless steel bars of this Calisthenics Park aren't great, I heat up my hands to make them a little bit sweaty and stickier for this next move. I'm delighted to see that they have a ladder. I don't have a ladder at my gym, and I don't get to practice my human flag often. So of course, I was going to add that. Again, I want to add my failed attempts and not just my wins. Because I don't practice this move often, my body awareness upside down attempting a flag is not great. And so I've included these clips where I try getting into the correct position several times, but end up falling over because my hips are either too to the right or too to the left and throw me off. So I stick to basics and do a vertical flag that I'm comfortable in and complete a few reps of tucked to vertical flag just to, feel a bit more comfortable in that movement being upside down on the ladder. If you also don't have a lot of time to train in places where there is a ladder, this tuck to vertical flag exercise where you complete a few reps is fantastic for not only building your endurance, but getting your body aware and comfortable in this upside down position to eventually do a flag. And then here are my attempts at extending my leg. Sometimes again it's too far to the right, too far to the left, but practice makes perfect. I always enjoy when I get a few people staring at me weirdly like, what is this girl doing? Sometimes in admiration and sometimes in pure surprise. And here we can see those same attempts in a little bit more detail. I can clearly see where I lose my grip. It is a mixture of not having the strength in the obliques and upper part of the body yet, but also that body awareness kicking in because we're not usually finding ourselves hanging off a ladder almost horizontal. So, like anything, needs practice. Overall, I'd say that was a great session. Random tyres stuck into the park, but it's a lovely design. And then some trees have been chopped. I was going to say, is that to like run across, and the library that used to be a parliamentary building. There's a lot of runners here as well. This is quite close to the Airbnb we're staying at. Just looks like a really beautiful place. Some logs over there. There. Is there anything more autumnal than this? Reminds me a bit of Canada, actually. It's just beautiful. I love fall. It's such a beautiful time of the year. Don't know why, it just reminds me of Canada or the US and their little pumpkin spice lattes. Tempted to run up here. There's something wrong with me. Whenever I see a bunch of stairs, I just want to run up it. There is indeed, because this workout lasted hours, so much so I had to split it into 2 videos. And I ran back home because I had that much energy. When you get one of those days and you just feel like you could go on forever, you feel super strong. Well, this was one of those days for me. I hope everybody feels this way at least one day in the next coming weeks, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching and being here, and I'll catch you in the next one. Ciao!